To NBA Nation on this Friday evening, weekend edition of the NBA Report. CP the Franchise, Alex Rataros on the ones and twos. On today's episode, the NBA trade market is starting to heat up. We've reached a key milestone in the league, and we're going to talk about that and talk about some potential names who could be on the trading block. Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, how about Donovan Mitchell, Pascal Siakam? We're going to talk about all of it, some potential destinations, plus Draymond Green suspended indefinitely. We're going to react to that and talk about how that might impact the Golden State Warriors going forward. That plus our Friday prize picks of the night. Today's episode, as usual, is presented by Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Go to prizepicks.com, use our promo code NBAR for a first-time deposit match of up to $100 for your chance to win up to 25 times your money. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Al, how you feeling, man? Happy Friday, bro.
I was about to say happy Friday because usually you say happy Friday. You know, I want to make sure that didn't go missed. But
no. Despite a chaotic day, we still got to give thanks. You know what I mean? Give thanks for the good stuff. And so we never forget to say happy Friday. But as we start the show, it's a not so happy Friday in the land. Do they still put in the land after LeBron's life? Is that the nickname? Places
is it still the land? I don't even know. Why would you call it the land?
I don't know. Is that what they call it? It's not really a cool place, but they kind of gave it a cool nickname, right? The land. Was it once upon a time called the land, or did I make that up?
I think you're right. It was called the land at one point, especially when Bron was there, you know, but it's not the land of milk and honey as of right now. It's more like the land of, you know, injuries and becoming a dump, according to you.
The land of the walking wounded, man, because according to reports, Shams, Woj, everybody, first and foremost, you got Evan Mobley for the Cleveland Cavaliers is going to be out multiple weeks with arthroscopic surgery, scheduled to have the surgery on Monday to remove a loose body in his left knee that could keep him out 6 to 8 weeks.
A loose what?
Loose body. I don't know. Maybe he's got somebody in there, like a little midget or something. I don't know. Vertically challenged, I guess. You got to be PC these days. Darius Garland, Al, got a fractured jaw in Thursday night's loss to the Boston Celtics. He will miss at least 4 weeks. So now you got Garland out 4 weeks, a month. You got Mobley out a month and a half to maybe 2 months. Cavs are sitting at 13-12. What do you think, man? It's been a tough season for them so far, man. But what do you think about in the trade lens? Could the Spider be available sooner than later? All right. There was talk that he's not committing to Cleveland past this season until the off season. But what if they slide? Could the Spider be available, man?
Look, man. I mean, when I think about the Cavs, this was supposed to be, especially last season, right? Remember all the hype. Knew last year that you were going to have a Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell trade just because they didn't go far enough in the playoffs. You saw that Danny Ainge was ready to make some changes. You get the haul for Rudy Gobert. That's all good. And then you talk about Donovan Mitchell going over to Cleveland. And as soon as he gets to Cleveland, they're like, oh, this is a championship contending team. This team can go so far, this, that, and the third. And then you watch them and they get demolished. Once again, I'll say that again, demolished by the New York Knicks. Okay. Showing that they were not tough enough, physical enough to keep up with a brutal and physical team such as New York. But hey, you look at this season and right now they're a play-in team. They are currently 13-12 after losing to the Boston Celtics last night. And this team has just been up and down. Everyone's been missing nights, whether it's Donovan Mitchell, Garland, Jarrett Allen. Now you got Mobley. It's just been a revolving door of guys who are in the rotation and who are not. And you thought after making moves to get Max Strus and so forth, re-upping on Karis LeVert, that this would be a competitive team again to be top 6. If I'm the Cavs right now, man, and this is what I'm dealing with Darius Garland being injured, misses some time, and Evan Mobley. I'm wondering how far we're actually going to go this year. And I'm looking, as you mentioned, think about Donovan Mitchell, especially if he doesn't want to be there. He thought he was going to be a New York Knick, all those things, be back in his hometown. I would, if I were Cleveland, I would gauge the temperature on how serious Spider wants to stay in town. And if he's not, you got to get ready to move him and get the most you can on that contract, because what is it? This contract ends the 24-25 season.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, people are going to be like, why am I trading more assets for a rental where you could have somebody in-house, you get a whole off season right now. So this is the best opportunity. If you're Cleveland, you're saying, hey, Spider's not going to be here long term. Let's move him. Also, let's keep this in mind, CP.
Yeah.
And this is the last thing I got to say. The team looks good when Spider's not there. He's so ISO heavy and so ball dominant that when he's not there, and they talked about it, the ball moves around the court much faster and the team plays with a higher tempo pace. This is not to say Donovan's a terrible player. This is not to put any ill will against the guy, right? But when you watch a team, it is different. And if you're thinking about how do you include other guys in this offense and use all their strengths, sometimes less is more. As we see with James Harden, you allow somebody else like Tyrese Maxey for Philadelphia. You see how that ball movement's better too. Maybe that's a way that Cleveland could spin this thing for themselves.
Yeah, and we're seeing that. We're seeing that with Philadelphia. We're seeing that in Chicago right now with no Zach Lavine. And it's very interesting because our guy Justin Termini, shout out to my guy Justin Termini of NBA Radio. He put out a funny tweet. He's always poking the bear on Twitter. And Justin Termini put out this tweet. He says the Cavaliers trade for Donovan Mitchell was worse than the Timberwolves trade for Rudy Gobert. Just like in Utah, Mitchell puts up bigger numbers, but Gobert impacts winning more. What do we think about that in the chat, man? Agree or disagree? I think, that's a tough statement to make because last year, the Cavs were the number 4 seed in the East. They had touted one of the best defenses in the NBA for the entire season. Donovan Mitchell was playing at a high level. Darius Garland was playing at a high level. You had Evan Mobley starting to take that step up in year 2. Jared Allen playing great. They had all-stars on that team. So it's hard to really say, man. Things were really clicking for them at that stage. And last year, the Timberwolves were a complete opposite. They were nowhere near what they were just now. So it's very hard to say. Every season is different. Every season is different. You can't count on things from one season to that. I think both of these teams are key examples of why every season is different, right? Because going into the season, I don't think anybody would have seen the Timberwolves number 1 in the West and the Cavs struggling. So I don't think it's necessarily fair that you can say that. Specifically with the Cavs, with the Garland-Mitchell dynamic, taking out another high usage ball dominant player can certainly yield positive results. I think in the short term, because you have more ball movement, guys are playing more free. Guys are playing for each other. They're playing more selfless, which I think is the same thing you're seeing in Chicago. But I always feel like when things get tighter, you're still going to need that guy. And when I say when things get tighter, like in the playoffs, like you're still gonna need that guy. That's why, I'm not so sure if it benefits them long term. We would have to see. But what I can say is that we haven't seen this team really come together yet. They're still 13-12. They're in play-in territory, and I think what the play-in has done is for teams like that are still scrapping or facing adversity. I don't think there's going to be a point in the season. They're too talented to completely slide, to be chilling with Detroit. You get what I'm saying?
Sure. No, absolutely. They're not going to be down with Detroit.
Right. So I say that to say, I'm not so sure they'd be so desperate to hit the panic button and say, well, let's trade Spider now, because even in a month or 2 months, once they get back to full strength, they can still be within play-in territory range. You know what I mean? They still got Spider playing right now. So you got Strus, you got Jared Allen, you got Karis LeVert. You have Georges Niang still play with this team. So they're still going to have some talented players on this team. So I think they still should be able to tread water, where I don't necessarily think they're just going to hit the panic button and trade them right away.
No, not at all. And it's not going to be right now, right? As you mentioned, they're 13-12. They're not even at the level of the Atlanta Hawks, who are technically right now out of the play-in. They're 9-14. That's another team that's struggling. You have Chicago that's, going on a little run. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah. But look, the Cavs, as you said, are too talented. But when you look at the team right now, what you have, you're not going to have Garland. You're not going to have Mobley. Those are two big components of what they do. And I don't know how much you could rely on a Jarrett Allen, Donovan Mitchell ticket to keep you afloat. Donovan Mitchell is very talented. Don't get me wrong, right? Essentially, this is kind of similar to what he had out in Utah. But, you know, I like Rudy Gobert is different, though. It's not like Jared Allen is good, but he's not Rudy Gobert good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I just wonder, like, if you don't see it right now, like you could be a hovering 500 team. You could try to wait until Mobley and Garland get back. But if you're under 500, you know, and like we're not talking about like 1-2 games, we're talking under 500. We're talking about like 7-10 games under 500. At that point, and if you're in February, keep in mind we're talking about when Mobley comes back, it will be February.
Yeah.
If you're in that position, you have to make a decision because you have to think to yourself, we can either go on a run when everyone's healthy. And this is not even to say like, you know, Mobley is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. If it's 8 weeks, doesn't mean he comes back right then at 8 weeks. He could take time and you got to ramp him up and get the minutes back under his belt. So for Cleveland, I think there might be a little bit more urgency than we're talking about right now as this progresses. Like this, we're talking middle of December right now. It's December 15th, you know, 16 more days of this month.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to go through January, and January is going to be the biggest test for them, in my opinion, where if you're hovering around 500 through January, I don't see them making a move. But if you start to reel and you have Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen, and that's not cutting it, I would be questioning what you have on this team, because if you can't win with at least Donovan Mitchell, who's supposed to be a superstar, you know, you traded for this guy because it puts you over the top. As you talk about, he's supposed to be that you want this type of guy, because in the playoffs, if you need someone who score in isolation and drop 45 with no problem, that could be that guy. He didn't do it against the Knicks, though. He didn't show up. Actually, it was Garland that showed up out of everybody.
Yeah.
And then if you're saying if he can't help this team stay afloat to get to that range, I think you're going to start seeing Cleveland say, we got to move this guy now, because if it's not looking good here, why keep him in-house?
I just think, as I said with the play-in tournament, Miami showed us last year. Just make it and see what happens from there. Like, you could have a situation where it takes Cleveland March, early April to really get it together. They make the play-in, and now, you know, they see a Sixer team or a Bucks team and make it tough for them, right? Or even a Celtics team in an 8-1 matchup and make it tough for them. Like,
Steve, let me ask you this right now, though. Let me ask you this. What team right now do you see Cleveland fully healthy taking down in the East?
I think Milwaukee can be beat.
Okay.
I think they definitely can be beat. I mean, the Freak is playing at a ridiculous level. He's killing everybody right now.
64 points.
I think they can be beat, because if you're coming in there with Garland and Donovan against Dame and Malik Beasley, how are they shutting that down? That's going to be tough.
But wouldn't you have to say for the other side where you have Giannis
and
Brooke? I mean, you got Brooke guarded. Jared Allen's got to be leaving the set.
I got Allen out there. This is all-star. I got Allen out there as well. I got bench. I got Strus. I think they can not. Why could they knock the Bucks off?
I don't know, man. I think, to me, I look at Brooke as like a stronger, more intimidating center than what you got in Jared Allen. I mean, Mitch, for a guy who's an all-star, I mean, Mitchell Robinson should be the all-star instead, because he dominated the living daylights out of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So I think Brooke is better at that point, especially because he could bring him out from the three. And then Giannis, Mobley trying to guard Giannis, that's not possible to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I honestly, it just evens out that way, where it's like you talk about Milwaukee's perimeter, not great. And that's where the Garland and Donovan could take advantage. But then interior, for me, it's like that's where Brooke and Giannis could. And I think the one difference, though, is that I guess I'll lean Dame more than anybody else, because Dame has actually gone further in the playoffs than Spida. But I think it's close.
Who do you, obviously the next thing is there with Spida. I'm sure Kobe Altman is already talking to who's our cap guy again? I'm sure he's talking to Brock Aller. I'm sure they're talking. I got to think he's calling Pat Riley right now.
But you saw the Nets are another team to watch out for.
Nets? I don't see it, man.
Really?
I don't see it.
I have people DMing me. They're saying they're worried about the Nets coming
You,
in here and
you
poaching
think the
Donovan Mitchell.
Nets would go for it? I think it's Miami, man. You got Hawkes playing at a high level.
Yeah, I mean,
Riley could be
Hawkins,
looking
yeah.
like, you know what? Listen, man. Hero, it's been real. We're gonna get a killer in here next to Jimmy and Bam. You go get Donovan. They lost out on Lillard. They lost out on KD. They lost out on Hard. Like they lost out on
Beal.
a lot of guys. Beal. They lost out on Beal. To me, that's the biggest threat to the Knicks getting Donovan Mitchell is going to be Pat Riley in Miami Heat. I truly believe it. And the way Hawkes is playing, Hero becomes more and more expendable if you're going to go get Donovan Mitchell.
I like Hawkins too. He plays defense.
He's a beast.
That man plays defense.
He's a beast. He's a beast. So let's see what happens there. The land might be burning. It's a little ember right now. Not burning. It's a little ember. It's a little ember going on in the land. Let's talk about Lauri Markkanen, Al. Lauri Markkanen, man, 23.7 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game. Hey, he's back to all-star form or close to it, but could he be on the block? According to Jake Fisher, Yahoo Sports, says Lauri Markkanen has emerged as a fascinating, albeit unlikely, trade candidate before February's trade deadline. The reason he believes that he could be is that with the Jazz in an 8-16 start, he's got contract negotiations coming up, just like Donovan Mitchell. His contract will end in 24-25. And the thinking there by Jake is that depending on how Danny Ainge evaluates where this team is, like, are they just having a bad year or are they just not there yet? They could trade him. So I look at this one as make me an offer I can't refuse, Danny Ainge style, or he probably sticks around. What do you think?
Exactly that, CP. Make me an offer I can't refuse. This is, to me, is just screaming, who's desperate? Like, who's really desperate to go get Lauri Markkanen? And, as Fisher mentioned in that article, you have Sacramento. You have, who else you got? You got, what do you say? I think he also said, was it Atlanta's in there as well?
Sacramento, Atlanta, and let me give you the name: Sacramento, Atlanta, OKC. You put OKC.
And OKC, that's right. I knew it was like that one was interesting. OKC is very interesting.
Yeah.
Look, I could see the Kings needing a big. I mean, I know Harrison Barnes is underperformed this year for that team, but if you're worried about defense, I don't know why you want Lauri Markkanen and Domantas Sabonis as your two front court guys. I mean, offensively, that team would just be more talented because Markkanen is a sniper from downtown. But if I'm Sacramento, I'm just gonna go through all three teams right here, right? For a second. If I'm Sacramento, I'm moving Sabonis. I'm putting Lauri at the 4, and I'm trying to look for a legitimate center, like a good rim protector. You know what I mean? That's how I would look at it. I would not want Sabonis
evolve in that way. I could see that evolve in that way.
I would not want Sabonis, like, as much as Sabonis is like, it's funny. I see this meme all across Twitter where they talk about Sengun, Sabonis, and Jokic being like the evolution of like a Charmander to a Charmeleon to a Charizard.
Yeah.
Sabonis being the Charmeleon. It's like, look, man, hey, I get that. I get what Sabonis offers as like this Jokic light, but I don't think he's enough to take the Kings to that next level just because defensively he's just not there for that team. And even on offense, like, he's not a guy who's averaging 20 some odd points per game, but he's solid enough. But I would totally go Markkanen and go get a different center. If you're talking about Atlanta, for Markkanen, if you're talking about Atlanta for Markkanen, like, that's a great fit. I think if you want to add a legitimate 4 for Atlanta, that's dangerous to add. Yeah. You would have him and Trey opening up this 4 for everybody. Then you have Capella, who's back to being that rim runner that he was back in Houston and early Atlanta days,
or Okongwu, depending on which way they go.
Okongwu, for sure. And then you also got DeJounte Murray. Thank you. DeJounte would be the other guy who also, like, as much as he's improved as a 3-point shooter, you just open up the lane for him. So that team would be dangerous.
Yeah.
OKC, I have no idea how that would work, in all honesty, because Markkanen at the 4 with Chet, like, unless Chet puts on some weight, and like, I like Chet defensively, but I feel like you're going to need, I feel like if you get Lauri, you need a bona fide center, like a true bona fide center to really help him and to help the team in general. I think it'd be an interesting concept. I mean, if you're all about offense and if you want to do what the Pacers do and try to play at a fast pace, you could go that direction. But I always just think Lauri has to be with a legitimate center, man. I like, that's why he works so well with Kessler, is because he can actually just step out, and Kessler, who we saw, I mean, man, if you just want to go hear some depressed Knicks fans, just go over to KFTV after the Utah Jazz game. All right. We were frustrated, but you just saw how that worked out. So that's why I always think for Markkanen, he has to be with a center. I'm not really too keen on the OKC move, but
yeah,
it would be interesting.
I think I'm with you there with Atlanta. I think that would probably be the best fit. It's a nice mix of complementary pieces in that lineup. Again, depending on who they gave up, but I like that. You're talking about like a package with like Jalen Johnson, a couple other pieces, or Bogdanovich. It's kind of tough. Bogdanovich playing well too, and so is Jalen Johnson. But for Markkanen, you might have to make a move like that. I like Atlanta. Sacramento, I think they need to get tougher, and they need defense. I don't think offense is necessarily their issue. I wouldn't be so quick to give up on Keegan Murray either. I wouldn't be so quick to give up on him. I don't think it makes sense to give up on him. You're going to lose defense. You're going to lose a more complementary piece in your lineup. The problem with Sacramento is, as you said, they got to get the Sabonis thing is he gives you so much on the offensive end as a skilled passing big man. It's no wonder that when he got there, things just turned around. Him and Fox have an excellent duo, and he's a great passing big man next to Sabonis. But he takes away so much on the defensive end that it's almost like a neutral. The Sabonis factor. And so, like you said, ultimately, they're going to have to move on from it and get bigger size, get more formidable. Harrison Barnes has done his days. You got to upgrade there, but with Sabonis at the 5, you're still going to be weak. So even if they did get Markkanen, it would be nice. But him and Sabonis in there, you're not going to go anywhere because you can't defend anybody. So I think that's the issue. OKC would be interesting because I think of all those teams, they've got the pieces where if they gave them up along with draft capital, you wouldn't even know those guys are gone because they have so many guys. I mean, you watch an OKC game, they've got from 1 through 13, guys are getting burned at some point. They may not be every game, but guys are getting burned from Ousmane Dieng to Terrence Trey Man.
They got Trey Man.
Trey Man, that's my guy, man. So I think that would be interesting, but do they give up a J-Dub for Markkanen? That would be tough. I like J-Dub. I like Jalen Williams. I do like Jalen Williams.
I think it'd be Giddey that'd be on the move if you're OKC. And then what you could do is that you would slide Dort to shooting guard, Williams to small forward, and you could do Markkanen at the 4. But like I said, like I like Chet. Like if Chet could put on more weight and be a tougher center, that'd be very interesting. Now I could see that working. I don't know. We've had that question. We gotta get our guy Alex back on here to talk about that and Chet at the center position. But we'll see, man.
But you know what though? What Diagonal is trying to do, and we talked about this on a previous show. If they were to make a trade like that and still keep the other Jalen Williams, where you're bringing him off the bench, then you could still go your twin tower lineup. You could go big, or you can go small. And have that, you can have that dynamic. So, you could get more explosive offensively. You could add more shooting to your lineup. And then if you got to get tougher, you got to grind it out. You bring in your 2 big lineup and go that way. So I think Markkanen with OKC would actually be kind of fire depending on the cost.
I think Giddey's getting moved if you do that.
And boy, oh boy, he had a bad night last night. Boy, every time he got the rock in Sacramento last night, they were letting him have it. That boy, Giddey, man.
I just think, look, man, you're not trading SGA.
No.
Well, here's why I say it's Giddey, and this is not even to be facetious with what he's going through right now. Okay, I'm legitimately thinking like if you're just look at like the roster, SGA not being moved, you're not moving Chet. You need defense. Dort staying. I agree with you. You keep Jalen Williams. You got to keep him. But he's an undersized power forward where he is right now. And that's why I say, like, you can move that. I'd move every draft capital possible. You're not going to draft all those guys anyway.
Yeah.
And you can go get Lauri Markkanen. Like I said, I think offensively, it'd be the most interesting, most fire fit. Defensively is where I would have my concerns. But, as our guy Andrew would always say, I think he thinks he could be fine with just an okay defense and a legit scoring threat offense. So maybe it works out that way. We're seeing that with Pacers right now. We see that with the Bucks. Who knows?
Yeah. But how about those New York Knickerbockers, Al? Because Nick
for Lauri.
When a new name comes about, they're all over. We got to get him. Leon, get on the phone. Get him. We need a guy. Would you bring Markkanen to the Knicks?
Are you trading Julius Randle?
No.
You want Markkanen?
I'm Julius Hive, man.
Huh?
I'm Julius Hive, man. He's got you blocked on Twitter. We're cool. He don't like you. We're cool, though. I'm not trading Julius.
What has happened?
2020.
This is a complete 180.
Returning the league.
I'll save that for KFTV. I'll save that for tonight. Anyway. Markkanen and Randall on a team. What is happening here? Who are we moving? What is this lineup that we're talking about? Are we talking about a Brunson, like whoever at shooting guard, Randall, Markkanen, Mitch front court? Is that what we're seeing right now? Are we just replicating what the Cavs did?
Yeah.
Wow.
It depends. It depends. I mean, let's look at his contract first and foremost and see what we're dealing with here. Let's take a look at the contract. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. NBA Report, we in here. 17 mil for that contract. So, I mean, you're talking about multiple players here. Obviously, Angel's going to want younger players if he's doing this. So, are you talking quickly? Are you talking RJ? Or along with the Fournier contract? Are you talking quick? Plus, probably 3 firsts. 2 or 3 first, probably 3. No names. And depending on his motivation. So you're giving up quick. Let's say it's quick. Fournier, 3 picks for like Markkanen and somebody else. So you would have a lineup of Brunson, RJ, Markkanen, Randall, Mitch. Your bench will be Grimes, Dante, Ihart, and Hart. I think that'd be nice offensively. I think it'd be fine. It'd be nice.
You said Brunson, RJ, Markkanen, Randall, and
Mitch. Healthy Mitch. Yeah.
Well, hey, Lauri, this is tips. Can you play any defense? We're looking for some defense. So what we see right here is that we'll have a net rating of 300 defensively, and we can live with that.
Offensively, they be good. They be solid. He give you another shot creator there at the 3. He could shoot it, fine. But defensively, I think it would be a disaster, and I think ultimately it would be a transition move. Like if you go get Markkanen, then RJ and Julius got to be the next one out. You know what I mean? RJ or Julius would be the next ones out to get more defensive minded in there. I just don't see what you think you can win with Markkanen and Randall. Garden.
Look, I don't like that fit whatsoever. Just defensively, like I think you're just like even with the Cavs, like it was fine, but it was only fine because Allen and Mobley can play defense. You know what I mean? Like, and you had Lauri out at the 3, but you had 2 guys that could play defense and who were solid at defense, and then you also had I forget who was playing for the wing that year, but or I should say at the shooting guard. I just don't like that fit, man. I feel like if you're going to get Lauri Markkanen, you're going to have to move Randall. And that makes more sense to have like even RJ on this team for just spacing purposes, because Lauri can shoot the 3 ball well. So if you have Lauri, Brunson, and then say if you have like Dante out there who can shoot the 3 very well, You open it up for RJ, open it for Mitch, Brunson, and those guys can attack the lane very well. Yeah. I just don't like, and you're not really losing anything defensively because you're just replacing one poor defender with another poor defender. You know what I mean? So, and if anything, you're adding more height. So more of a deterrent in the paint. But I'm not to have the lineup of like Markkanen and Randall and Mitch. That maybe in like Tibbs's 2000s bag would he love to see that. But I'm good, man. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
We talked about Spida. Now we just talked about Lauri. And these are two names now that I just see flying around the Knicks Twitterverse.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel if the team was something like this?
Mm-hmm.
It had Brunson, Mitch, Lauri, Randall, and what was it? So you had Brunson, Spida. Let me just not use Mitch. Mm-hmm. You have Brunson, Spida, Lauri, Randall, Robinson.
Brunson's, yeah. I'm good with it for in the onset. Fine, bringing it. Like they're going to need to make moves. They got to make moves, bro. Like you need talent infusion in here. Go get it and see what happens. I just feel like in the long term, you're gonna have to massage the rotation a little bit. You're gonna have to tweak. You're gonna have to make tweaks, which is fine. Right? Progression is never going to be in a straight line, right? Sometimes you're going to plateau. Sometimes you might take a dip and then come back up. Every year is different. But I think in the onset, go get him. I'll go do that. I'll go do that.
I would love to see Tibbs work with some offense like that.
Yeah, I go do that. Why not? I just think long term, it just may not be the best look. So we'll see. According to Jake Fisher, and I tend to agree that, I don't think the marketing thing is anything imminent. It's Ainge putting it out there. Hey, maybe an offer I can't refuse, or else he's going to stick around. However, according to Jake Fisher, everybody else is on the table outside of Keontae George. So salute to all those Jazz fans over the summertime that were trying to roast us when they got John Collins. Oh, you guys don't know anything about our team. We had a great year last year. We're going to be fantastic. We're in great position. And, we swear by David Locke. He's our guy. They're 8-16. Going nowhere fast. The Collins thing was a nothing burger, as we said. He's probably going to be out the door. And the Utah Jazz have been irrelevant since the Stockton Malone days. Wow. No, when they had Daron and Carlos Boozer, they were doing a thing. They'd always beat the Knicks. So,
they were fine when they had Gordon Hayward too, man. Like they were a fine team. They made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Donovan, Rudy, they were fine.
Yeah, they were all right. No,
I feel you, man. You're upset. The Jazz fans came out by the droves and attacked us, CP. I was getting
you guys.
The mentions were just filling up.
You guys. Oh, we got such a great team, a great young team. All right.
They don't tap in. Alex messed up the name Walker Kessler. Said Kessler Walker because he had a brain fart. Okay.
They got you, boy. When you switched up his name, boy, they were coming out here with the pitchforks. But the salute to the Jazz fans, man. All love. Anyway, Zach LaVine. Let's get to it. Zach LaVine still out nursing an injury, and the Chicago Bulls seem to be pretty content with that. They tell him to take your time. Because right now, they're clicking right now. But look, it's according to Jake Fisher, it's a slow developing market for Zach LaVine. Nothing really has changed in that regard. And so there it is. Is it LA or bust for Zach LaVine?
Or Philly? You gotta throw Philly in there. I think
I'll throw Philly in there. I'll throw Philly in there.
I thought an interesting name, CP, that came up for Zach LaVine was, I think it was the Kings. The Kings were like a sleeper team for Zach LaVine, which to me, I'm like, really? That's you want to have no more defense on this team. Like you barely have any defense. You want no defense. Interesting. Okay. For the Kings, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you want to do that. It's really, to me, the two teams that we talked about, it's Lakers or Sixers or bust, honestly. And I can understand why the market is. I mean, look, he's out with a foot injury right now. You look at that contract. Who am I trading for to bring a guy who is constantly injured onto my team if I'm being serious, and trying to make a deep playoff run. For the Lakers and for the Sixers, they could take that. They could take that risk because they're good right now. And without him on the team, they're still clicking, right? You have AD and LeBron on the Lakers. You even got Reeves, you want to throw in there, that they're still competitive. When you look at Philly, you got Maxey, you got Embiid, you got a revitalized Tobias Harris. Like, you could still thrive, and you see how these two teams are competing. So for those two teams to be in the mix saying, hey, we would be open to trading for Zach LaVine if the price is right, that doesn't shock me because he's not on that team right now and they're still fine.
Yeah.
Anybody else who's trying to be serious, and a lot of the other teams, like, I think of the Kings, it's like they're fun, they're competitive, but he doesn't put you in that next level of going over the top. It would be the same thing for the Knicks. You know, doesn't put you over the top. When you talk about the Lakers and the Sixers, they have MVP caliber players. You got LBJ and then you got Embiid. So that's why it just makes sense to me. But I'm not shocked that no one's in a rush to make a move for LaVine. But hey, shout out to the Bulls, man. Yeah. They won what? They're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They won 5 of their last 7 games. Good for you.
Yeah, they're playing well. And that's why for the Bulls, well, the Laker thing, it makes a lot of sense for the Lakers. We talked about this numerous times. I think the Lakers, despite how great and how well LeBron James and Anthony Davis are playing, and they're playing very well, in-season tournament champions, put some respect on the name, but playing very well. I agree, LeBron should be in that MVP conversation. I do agree. He's not going to get it, but I do think he deserves that acknowledgement, especially at the age that he's playing at. But LaVine, they need an insurance policy. They need an insurance policy, and LaVine, to me, is that guy. The question is, how do they get the salaries to go get LaVine? He's making $45 million this year, right? Like, how do they go get that? I don't know. And the thing is that, you know, while everybody points to, no, I'm tripping. He's making 40. Correction, 5 million off. He's making 40. But the point still is, how do they get there to go get him? If D'Lo is the center, is part of that because he's the salary, he's like the highest paid outside of the big three for the Lakers. And you're looking at it from the Chicago standpoint, and you see Kobe White killing. You see Ayo getting more of an opportunity here. Like, the Bulls' young guards playing well. Why do I need to go out there and go get D'Angelo Russell? Even though, yes, that is an expiring deal. Like, I think for the Bulls, they are going to want to look for a little bit more here than just salary filler and cap space. So I'm not so sure. You know, Lakers always find a way to get their guy. Maybe it's a 3-team deal or something along those lines, but I have a hard time seeing how the Lakers can find the salaries to go get Zach LaVine and get it done.
I'm trying to work it right now and see what trade would work.
You on the trade machine right now?
Yes, sir. You know I'm always on the trade machine. I'm trying to figure this stuff out, CP. We're trying to figure this out real time, okay? That's what we do over here at the NBA Report. We're trying to figure.
Go to Fanspo with a trade machine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good God, man. This is quite. I'm trying, man.
Crazy.
I am trying. All right. So I got a close. It's not going to register right now because Rui can't be traded until January 15th.
That's what I was thinking.
D'Lo. Yeah. D'Lo and Rui cannot be traded until January 15th because they re-signed and their salaries were raised by 20% each. But this is what I have. This could be a trade. You know, you got to throw in whatever draft picks you have if you're the Lakers, but it'd be D'Lo, Rui, Christian Wood, Max Christie to go get Zach LaVine. And I think, like, look, I think it was in and shout out to our guy Michael Scotto. I did read in his article, Rui is on the table to be moved. So
that's an easy trade for the Lakers.
Yeah,
it's easy.
So if you're looking, and look, if you gotta give up a rookie and Max Christie, you're gonna do it. Well, Zach LaVine's also clutch. You know how that all works out. Yeah. So
go get link up with the family, man.
Yeah, and then Christian Wood, if you got to throw him in there just to work it out even more. It's off by $2.5 million with these contracts I mentioned for Zach LaVine. I don't see why they wouldn't do that, and we probably wouldn't see this deal done. Like, nothing ever happens in December anyway. It's way too early. It's usually by January, close to the trade deadline, where we start to see moves happening. But this is something that I feel like, because Scotto did mention in his article, Russell and Rui are the two guys that the Lakers are open to moving, and just throwing Christian Wood. He's not really getting much playing time. Max Christie, for as much as I could see the Lakers liking him as a rookie, you just move on. You just move on because you got to do what you got to do.
I'm still going Lakers. I'll give Philly a distant second. I think he'll end up being with the Lakers somehow, some way. The Lakers always find a way to get their guy. So they'll figure it out, and I think that would be a great move for them. Pascal Siakam. Now,
Max Christie was drafted last year. Sorry, my apologies. Not a rookie. Second year.
Okay, all good. Pascal Siakam. According to Jake Fisher, the Hawks are hot after Siakam again, as they were last year. He also, he didn't mention this, but you also had rumors about the Pacers. And no, he did actually mention this. He said Siakam interests are the Pacers and the Kings, although both the Pacers and Kings appear more vested in the possibility of landing Anunoby than his older, less malleable Raptors counterpart. I think for Siakam, I think it'd be a great move for all three teams. I think it'd be a great move for the Hawks. I think it'd be a great move for the Pacers with Halliburton. And I think depending on the trade, he might be the one player for the Kings that I would deal Murray for. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. He's more versatile, can play make, can score, can put the ball on the floor, wingspan, defense, all of that. I think that would be a move that I would consider putting Murray up for if I'm the Kings. But I think ultimately the Raptors do trade him and not Anunoby.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to Will Liu for a Game of the Week preview not too long ago when we previewed the Knicks versus the Toronto Raptors, and he said that Masai looks at OG as like a son, essentially. So that doesn't see him being moved. That's why the draft, the compensation for a trade for OG is so high. I agree with that. I could see OG staying unless the Raptors are just blown away with some sort of offer. But for Siakam, and this is lining up with what Will Liu said as well, is that he could see Siakam being on the move. I think Siakam for any one of those teams would be a great fit. You talk about for Sacramento, Pacers, Pacers defense bad, my man. So if they got to consolidate, that's the whole thought process, right? They're thinking about moving TJ McConnell. He was out of the rotation until, get close to in-season tournament play. I could see Siakam fitting there. I could see the Hawks wanting him too. They need somebody that can offer more defense and versatility at the power forward position. Kings would be interesting, although I still don't think it solves all your issues, though, with Domantas Sabonis at the 5.
No, certainly helps, but it doesn't solve everything. But I do think ultimately he gets moved, and I don't think either side comes to an agreement on an extension, and Anunoby becomes the one who stays, and we'll see what happens there. So those are just a couple of names that have been put out there. That's the usuals, but with this Jake Fisher article coming out, we wanted to kind of react to it and get your thoughts on it. So for the good people in the chat, let us know your thoughts, man. Siakam, Lavine, Markkanen, what do you guys think, man? Donovan Mitchell, what do you guys think? Who could be trading places between now and the trade deadline? Leave us a comment in the chat, in the video, in the comment section as well, and we will respond to it. Once again, NBA Report, CP the Franchise, Alex Charles on the ones and twos. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. This show is brought to you guys by Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy. Go to prizepicks.com, use promo code NBAR for an instant deposit match up to $100. And coming up, we're gonna get to our Friday picks for Prize Picks. But first, let's get to this one real quick. Al, Draymond Green suspended indefinitely. Draymond, man, after a UFC style spinning back fist, which is very impressive, but not suitable for an NBA court in this day and age. Joe Dumars and the league has said that the NBA will require Draymond Green to meet league and team conditions before his return. And we had a soundbite from Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr met with the media just yesterday before the Warriors and Clippers game. Here is what Steve Kerr had to say about the situation.
I think the suspension makes sense. To me, this is about more than basketball. It's about helping Draymond. I think it's an opportunity for Draymond to step away and to make a change in his approach in his life. And that's not an easy thing to do. That's not something you say, okay, we're going to do 5 games and then he's going to be fine, right? The league did that. Did 5 games after the incident with Rudy. That's not the answer to pick a number. The answer is to help Draymond and give him the help he needs, give him an opportunity to make a change that will not only help him, help our team, but help him for the rest of his life. It's not just about, an outburst on the court. This is about his life. This is about someone who I believe in, someone who I have known for a decade, who I love for his loyalty, his commitment, his passion, his love for his teammates, his friends, his family. We're trying to help that guy because the one who, grabbed Rudy and choked Rudy, the one who took a wild flail at Yusuf, the one who punched Jordan last year. I think the suspension Rudy, the one who took a wild.
Oh man!
I mean, yeah. I mean, he left out like 10 or more incidents. We're talking about the guy who stomped on Sabonis's chest.
Yep.
We're talking about the guy who kicked Steven Adams in the nuts. We're talking about the guy who punched LeBron in the nuts and cost us championship number 5. We're talking about that guy. And then he's talking about, well, it's not about on court. It's about his life. Like now this guy has like a drug problem. I mean, boy, oh boy, what would they be saying about Charles Oakley if Oakley played in the league? It's about his life. We're concerned about him as an upstanding citizen. You knew who this guy was, man. You knew who this guy was. A dirty player, knocked out his own teammate in practice last year. I mean, I do wonder, did Steve Kerr want this extension when they brought him back? After the pool thing, I wonder.
To me, it feels like Steve Kerr is just frustrated at this point, man. He's got to be because it's never easy with Draymond, man.
Yeah.
It's like one thing after another. And this year is just, especially with the Jordan Poole incident, the DeMontis Sabonis, we're talking about all these incidents that hasn't even happened within a year, CP, or it has been a year. You know what I mean? Training camp from last year to now, and you're talking about, good God, man, can we please just get through a couple months without you doing anything so that we can just focus on, I don't know, what we're here to do, basketball? Can we just focus on basketball things for once? Look, I get it though. What is going on through him? He's thinking of him as a person. What is going on with him mentally? How can he get better? Is there stuff that he can do outside therapy or so forth and whatnot, so that way he could be in the best mental frame possible to go out there and execute and be the leader that he can be for this team? I get that. I totally get that. And I think look, I was reading Ramona Shelburne's article that dropped, I think it was yesterday. And, the league office is tired of what Draymond's doing, man. And, they're giving this leeway to the Warriors because of how good the organization has been and, the success they've had. And they're now putting this with this indefinite suspension, they're really putting it on the Warriors to figure out what they can do. It's not saying, hey, go meet X, Y, and Z, and then you get to come back in the league. They're saying, hey, Warriors, he's suspended indefinitely. This is really for you to take care of because we respect you as an organization. Go figure it out. And I think for the Warriors right now, this is just this is not something you need, honestly. Yeah. You don't need Draymond to do all these things. Obviously, you want to take care of him as a person. I get that. But as a team that's gone all in, getting Chris Paul, you're trying to see what Clay's got left in the tank. You extended Draymond. This is not what you need for your team when you have championship aspirations. Hopefully Draymond could stop and be known what he's best at, which is being a top tier defender, a guy who is a traffic control agent, just controlling the defense and pinpointing everybody where they need to go. You know what I mean? Traffic control, when you go to an airport, whatever. And that's what he should be doing. Not knocking out Yusuf Nurkic, which even his reasoning is like, oh, he was grabbing my hip. I was trying to flail. What? Flail in what direction, man? Like, what are you doing?
I didn't see anything
like,
wrong.
How is he pulling you in that direction to even flail in that direction? That makes no sense.
Nah. Draymond, he likes to target a certain type of person. Notice he never tried Julius with that stuff. He never tried Julius with that. You know what I mean? Say what you want about Julius. And that boy's ready to turn up. He's ready to turn up.
Yo, Randall wears his heart on his sleeve. That's a guy I do not want to get. I mean, come on, Stevie. We saw this guy. You saw, what was it, the coach with the laptop? Like, hey, man, you're not doing this. He's like, wax the laptop. Yeah. Hey, man, you want to get into this?
he ain't trying Bobby P with that. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
He ain't trying to freak. He's not trying to freak with that.
I would pay to see that. I would pay money to see that fight.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis versus Draymond Green.
The next fight under Jake Paul Productions.
Oh, God.
NBA bum fights. Bobby Portis versus Draymond Green, 2028. Book it. It's going to happen. Jake Paul Promotions on the Zone, hosted by my guy, Ariel Helwani. Bobby Portis versus Draymond, the brawl for it all. Hey, maybe they do it over the summertime, you know, like they used to do. Athletes used to compete. It's still in the summertime.
Hey, what if I wonder what it would have been like if Draymond tried that on KG?
Oh, no way. There's no way. There's no way. This is what I mean. Like, he picks his victims. He's very selective. Remember the little fight that him and Bradley Beal got into? A lot of people forgot about that.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, they mixed it up. Draymond and Bradley Beal mixed it up a couple years ago when Bradley was on the Wizards. They got into it. So yeah, listen, man. I mean, look, you just got to get your act together. There's no rehab or get your life in order, bro. You've been in the league 11 years. You're a grown ass man. I don't want to hear, Steph Curry should have got him in order and all. He's a grown man. They won 4 championships with this guy. Like, they've known what this guy's antics and theatrics were about since he's been there. It's shape up or ship out, period. There's no fixing him. He's got to fix himself. Take accountability. If you're such a genius on the court, and he is, then he should have the self-control to calm it down. Around. Like I said, he picks and chooses who he wants to get more physical with. So this is not an everyday thing. You know what I mean? When he stomped on Sabonis' chest, he didn't do that to Harrison Barnes. He didn't do that to his guy. He didn't do that to De'Aaron Fox. He didn't do that to he picks his victims. So you just got to chill out, bro.
I can see that. I also think, like, there's also some players who just know not to test anybody. And, like, let's also keep it a buck. Like, Sabonis was getting old. He was giving Draymond
He was holding him. He was grabbing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Sabonis was like completely.
I actually didn't even mind that one. I didn't mind that one.
Look, if you're going to try to grab my leg as I'm walking away, which is also a dangerous play.
That's a dangerous play. That is a dangerous play.
Then you know what? You're opening yourself up to some repercussions, which is, look, I won't question what goes on in someone's mental. Like, it's interesting how it is guys who are like people that he could take on. I will say this, though. He did kick the king. Like, do you really want to attack LeBron James? I mean, he did do that early on in his career.
He did. And after LeBron got him on clutch and got him bags after bags, boy, oh boy.
Come through to the barbershop.
Yeah, now he treats him like a king. That's a fact. That's a whole fact.
Now they're having side conversations. They're buddy and stuff like that. What a way to change.
Boy, that buddy will switch up fast, boy.
Look, sometimes, man, like, I won't knock the mental. Like, I don't know what he's going through. I don't know what's on the outside, but but it is funny that you're saying he's choosing the right opponents. You know who used to do this too? Not necessarily fight like on the court scuffle, but it was like Dwight Howard. Like, he'd choose which opponent he wanted to flex on and be like, I'm stronger than you. And then next thing you know, he gets a tough matchup. He's like, where are you at, man? Where you at? Where's Orlando Dwight?
It's just crazy, man. So see what happens with Golden State. Lost last night to the Clippers. Clay did bounce back, had about 7 threes in the game. I just like the fact that they're leaning on the youth. They put Wiggins on the bench. They had Kuminga start. You had Podziemski playing a role. I want them to give this kid some more playing time. Start moving towards the youth, man. For the Dubs, start moving towards the youth, and we'll see when they pick up their next win and when Draymond will be coming back. But for the league, Look, man, you just sat him down for the chokehold on Gobert. You got John Morant on the way back after he was, doing TikTok sing-alongs with the ratchet in his hand. You had the Kyrie situation. They're trying to sell the new TV rights in-season tournament. Adam Silver's just like, yo, listen, we got to get back to business. And spinning this thing in a positive light. You know what I'm saying?
TikTok sing-alongs.
Oh, he was doing TikTok sing-alongs with his friends with the ratchet in his hand. What are you doing?
Oh, my God. David Stern rolling in his grave right now. Because, he would have had this league in shape. Be like, well, my man.
Rolling.
Relax.
Facts. So let's see how that works out. But anyway, man, salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk Prize Picks, Al. Prize Picks daily fantasy sports made easy. With Prize Picks, you can win up to 25 times your money, people. You can win up to 25 times your money. And how to play Prize Picks is very easy. You're going to sign up first and foremost, use our code MBAR. You'll get the deposit match. So let's say you want to deposit. Let's say you just want to try it out. You want to deposit, put $50 down. They'll match you 50. So now you play with $100. And the wager is about $10. It's either $5 or $10. I got to double check. I usually start with 10 myself. So it's a small amount, but you have an opportunity to win up to 25 times your money. And what you're going to do is you're going to select between 2 to 6 players. You can pick between multiple sports. You can choose between multiple stats. And all you're going to do is predict whether or not that player is going to do more or less than the given stat projection that's Prize Picks has out there. More or less. And for you guys that are going to be watching the Christmas Day games, take advantage of their promo because they are promoting a Kevin Durant Christmas Day prop. You know what it is, Al?
Oh, yeah, I chose it.
Well, yeah, so did I. 0.5 points. 0.5 points. Suns versus Dallas, Christmas Day, 10:40 p.m. Eastern time. 0.5 points for Kevin Durant. So there they go. They're giving you one right there. So one is already accounted for. Now you just got to get the rest right to get your money. So that one is out there. Al, what did you select for tonight's game? What did you guys select for tonight? What did you select for tonight's game?
So like you said, I took advantage of that promo on Prize Picks. I took advantage of the Kevin Durant more than 0.5 points. Had to make that selections that just, unless something catastrophically goes wrong where he steps on the court, next thing you know, doesn't get a chance to make a bucket.
Slips on a banana peel or something.
Yeah, right. You get that. That's essentially easy money. Then I chose Brandon Ingram. He's playing tonight against Charlotte. He put up, I think he put up somewhere between 30 or 40 the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I have him putting up more than 23.5 points against the Hornets defense that is just woeful. I took Joel Embiid, man, because he's been on a roll, man.
Like
rebounding, points wise, and also with the assists. He's now adding the assists to his game.
Yeah.
I chose him for more than 52.5 points, rebounds, and assists tonight because they play the horrible, awful, god-awful
Detroit Pistons.
Yep. Then I chose Tyrese Halliburton for less than 13 assists. Halliburton on a roll as well, but 13 assists is pretty tough to maintain. They are playing the Washington Turnstiles tonight.
Yep.
But I don't think he's going to need to do that much to get his guys set up. So I took the less than 13 assists. And then I took Scotty Barnes. They're playing the Hawks again. Scotty, I believe he had 30 points against Atlanta. I believe in him again to get somewhere up around there. That's why I have him going for more than 22.5 points tonight. So that is my sheet. I'm sticking away from the 6. I'm going back to 5.
You're going back. You're going conservative.
Yeah, I'm going conservative tonight. But everyone out there, make sure to download the app Prize Picks or go to the website and use that promo code, man. Use the promo code NBAR.
NBAR, man. That's it. All right, man. Great show, Al. Great show to all of our mods. Great show to everybody who tapped in, man. Had a nice audience today for the Friday. Remember that we are live every day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually at 3 p.m. Today, we got off to a little bit of a late start. It was a bit busy day for us, so got a little bit delayed, but usually 3 p.m. But what you can do is hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you'll know exactly when we go live. We typically have a great guest at least once once a week. Wednesdays, we have our guy Andrew Solomon, the 1-2 combo in the building. And then Fridays, we get to it with a variety of topics. Tonight was trades. We did some sound bites for the Steve Kerr episode. For the Draymond Green episode. And so that's what it is, man. The NBA report. Remember that the show is also available in audio podcast format. No reason to miss it. You can catch us on all major platforms. If you missed the show live, salute to the replay gang. Al, doubleheader for us tonight, man. I'll catch you on KFTV, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Knicks, Suns, play-by-play live. Looking forward to it. We'll see you guys later, man. Have a great weekend. Peace.